it was fascinating to basically see, okay, what if we took Forbidden Planet and cranked it up to the level of Barbarella? What if we made like straight Barbarella?
They
you know?
No, it's no.
And they failed. And they failed. Off. Like they did it. They didn't do a good job at making the straight part. But it is like
it is less convincing at being straight than Barbarella is.
Yes, that's true.
I think it's not as gay, but way less straight.
Okay. Yeah, I can see that.
Queen does the entire soundtrack.
That's fair.
You
That's
can't say you're making a straight Barbarella movie and then hire Freddie Mercury to sing all the way through.
In 2022, two writers came together to finish what Universal Studios couldn't. A cinematic universe of monster movies called the Dark Universe. After 3 years and 30 scripts, their project was finally completed. Now, in 2025, they're back to attempt what's never been done before, a completely original cinematic universe entirely in podcast form. I'm Dalton DeShane.
And I'm Dylan Roth.
And you are now entering the Pod Universe.
Welcome to the Pod Universe, the podcast about cinematic universes, both real and imagined, but mostly imagined.
Yeah.
I'm your host, the keeper of the impossible? Question mark? Dylan Roth.
And I am your one-time James Bond and one-time Space Peter Pan host, Timothy Dalton DeShane.
Together we are creating the world's first cinematic universe entirely in podcast form.
That's right. Well, not the world's first.
Well, that's true. We've already done one, haven't we? This is the world's first all-original sci-fi cinematic universe entirely in podcast form.
This is the podcast with more qualifiers, where the qualifiers take up about half of the runtime.
We could make an entire episode of just explaining what the show is. In fact, we've done it twice.
And we've done it several times. You should see us. Whenever Dylan and I go out to a party or something, Dylan finds the one person with that has nerd written on their forehead and gives them the pitch.
They find me.
That's true. That's true. Because Dylan goes out with the word nerd written on his forehead.
It makes things a lot simpler.
Yeah, and he will pitch the show. And as we've talked about in the show, pitching the show is a nightmare.
But you know what's the easy part of the show? The guest episodes have a very simple premise, which is we throw open the doors of our imaginary studio and invite our favorite storytellers to plumb the depths of classic genre cinema and pitch their own cinematic universes for us to potentially produce. So we take properties that have been abandoned by major studios, and we hear pitches to figure out how to expand them into sprawling money machines to finance our original films. Although they won't make any money.
When we do have real writers on the show, as we do today, we do like to also make clear we do not actually own anything that you pitch us today, and you can do whatever you want with it.
Yeah, we kind of have to throw the kayfabe out the window when it comes to when I spoke to our guest when she was deciding what she wanted to do. I was like, are you sure you want to burn this on a podcast? This is a real job you might actually get.
We also promise, though, that the first $1 billion we make, we will make it real. As soon as we hit that billion, That's
right. Go to patreon.com/Dylan and Dalton to help us to our big reach goal of $1 billion.
You know what we haven't thought of before?
What?
We've been talking about Tom Cruise on this show for 4 years now, and we've never thought, why don't we join the Church of Scientology?
Okay. I can think of a couple reasons why it's a bad idea, but I can think of one really good reason why it's a good idea.
Which is that we could spend $1 billion making our guest pitch today real.
Okay, well, we're going to table it. We'll talk about it during the break.
Okay.
But for now, I'd like to introduce our guest this week, who is an author and illustrator currently making waves in the DC Comics universe with titles like Galaxy, The Prettiest Star, which I just finished reading, and it rocks, and the upcoming sequel, Galaxy as the World Falls Down, and Justice League Intergalactic. Along with co-writer Nicole Maines and artists like Nicholas Scott, J-Bone, and many more, she's created the 4-issue miniseries Justice League Dreamgirls, which launches this June. She's also got the coolest name in the Alpha Quadrant. Please welcome to the Pod Universe, Jadzia Axelrod.
Hello, thank you for having me.
Welcome, Jadzia.
I'm very excited.
Thank you for joining us. I do have to ask you, as we pick up the conversation Dylan and I were just having, have you been seeing this new TikTok trend where influencers try to get as far into the Church of Scientology as possible?
No, I'm not on TikTok, so no.
Bless you.
Me neither, but, well, actually we are. We do have a Pod Universe TikTok
are.
now.
I'm not.
You're not.
You do the socials. I get to keep my soul clean.
Well,
my Thaden levels are great.
the coolest thing I've seen influencers do is now young influencers are basically trying to run as fast as they can into the Church of Scientology to get as deep as possible before security throws them out in an attempt to map the facility. And they've done a pretty good job online of mapping an entire floor of the Church of Scientology just by sprinting through the door as fast as they can.
You know, I often say that posting does not count as activism. I'm going to make an exception here. I think that is activism via posting.
Also,
I
don't see how, but I mean, it sounds
they're gathering intelligence.
That's right. It's intelligence gathering. Also, there's one credit you left off the list that is perhaps most pertinent to the Flash Gordon verse.
Oh?
Jadzia, would you like to fill us in?
I have written a Flash Gordon story. That is true.
Oh, I was actually going to say Hawk Girl because Hawk Girl is based on
Hawk Girl is
the Hawk. I didn't know you had written a Flash Gordon. Tell us about your Flash Gordon story. Oh,
yeah.
Jadzia's pitching Flash
we're
Gordon,
doing
by the
Flash
way.
Gordon. If you haven't read the title of the episode, Jadzia is here to pitch the Flash Gordon cinematic universe. Jadzia, please do go on.
Yes, I have written a Flash Gordon story, kind of.
Okay.
I wrote a story for Flash Gordon Quarterly, which is like alternate reality versions of Flash Gordon.
Interesting.
So it's with the characters, but they're not in space necessarily. They're in other things. I made it like a Hammer horror film.
Oh,
so we
speak in our language.
I'm pumping my fist on the video.
Yeah. So like Flash and Dale and Zarkov are like Karnacki, the ghost hunter style ghost finders. Did you guys ever read those books? The William Hope Hodgson, Karnacki, the ghost finder?
I have not.
They're great. You should really read them.
I should.
They're amazing stories. One of my favorites. So they're investigating a haunted house, what they think it to be a haunted house. And they find Azura, who's a Flash Gordon character, the Witch Queen. And she is an actual witch here. And so they run into all sorts of monsters. And there's some sexy stuff with Azura and Dale.
Of course.
And then Zarkov gets turned into a cat. It's all wonderful things.
Perfect.
I had so much fun. Carola Borelli, I believe I'm pronouncing that right, did the art. Absolutely amazing job. Would work with her again in a heartbeat. But yeah, dream come true because I love Flash Gordon. So when they gave me this, I was like, oh, I'm so excited. Can't wait to do spaceships. And they said, but not spaceships.
No, anything but spaceships.
Do spaceships. I did get a ray gun in because I feel like you have to with Flash Gordon.
Sure.
But yeah, so I have written a Flash Gordon story, kind of.
I love the idea of Crisis on Infinite Gordons. That's really good. Or I guess on Infinite Mongos. What is it? Mongo? Is that the name of the? I'm already failing.
The planets, the worlds. Jadzia, help us out here.
It's Mongo.
It's Mongo. Okay, just making sure I was. So here's where
Mingus
we should.
is the singular form.
Dylan and I are Flash Gordon noobs, and so for the listener, obviously, we did not have time to dive through all 100 years of history of Flash Gordon newspaper strips or various other TV serials and things like that. But we did watch the 1980 film Flash Gordon.
If you only can take in one element of Flash Gordon culture, that's a pretty good one.
I felt like it was, sometimes you watch like the movie adaptation, like if someone was to get into The Dark Tower by Stephen King and told me they watched the movie, I would be like, sorry, you did it all wrong. Like that is nothing. You have learned nothing. If anything,
you have forgotten the face of your father.
You have forgotten the face of your father. But this felt, I mean, not being familiar with Flash Gordon, I had a fucking blast.
It's great.
I was telling Dylan before we started, about 60 minutes into the movie, I was thinking, man, if it keeps going like this, I'm going to have to buy the 4K. And then
it kept going like that.
And then 90 minutes in.
And it keeps going like that, yeah.
90 minutes in, I hit purchase on Amazon before the movie was even done.
I'm very happy for you. I'm going to be a bit of the contrarian here. I'm not going to go too deep because we have a lot of things to talk about. I'll just say that I loved the final act of this movie because it felt like all of the actors were finally like, as if this was shot in sequence, which certainly it wasn't. It felt like the actors were all locked in with a sense of humor. There's just more jokes.
There are more jokes.
They were landing. My main thing that I think keeps me from loving the Flash Gordon movie, because obviously the production design is great. I love how hard it goes into being comic book. I love that even the lead actors look like they belong in a Fleischer cereal from the 40s, right? Except for I don't think that this movie can work unless all the actors are really good. And most of the actors are not really good. The actors
How dare you say that about Brian Bless?
That's
right.
Brian Bless. No, Brian Bless rules in this movie.
Royal Shakespeare Company, Alan Bly, Brian Bless.
Boss Nass himself.
You're leaving us to die.
You know Ming's law, Baron. Outside his own kingdom, the hunter becomes the hunted.
Brian Bless is so good in this movie.
Yeah,
I love
amazing.
every second he's on screen. Max von Sydow's doing great. I needed everyone to be on that level. But you have, and Timothy Dalton can't fail. He's great. But Sam J. Jones as Flash does not have the sauce. The actress playing Dale kind of has it, and the actress playing Princess Aura absolutely does not have it.
Oh,
absolutely does not have it.
Oh,
Excuse me.
Oh my!
She got it hit by the boar worms.
No, not the boar worms.
Yeah.
And you didn't believe that? You did not believe her cry of pain with the boar worms?
My one qualm with this movie is that we didn't get to see the boar worms.
We should have seen the boar worms.
I wanted to see the boar worms. I will say, look.
Also, Richard O'Brien completely wasted in his small role. Should have been bigger.
He should have
had more Richard O'Brien.
That's a valid critique.
I am on board with Dino De Laurentiis. Like, I don't know. He's an old-time movie producer, so he's probably canceled for a million different reasons. But goddamn...
Sure.
Like, me and friend of the show, Calvin Kasulki, we have talked about, I don't have time for this, but we've talked about starting a podcast where we just watch every single movie Dino De Laurentiis produced in order, which would be...
It's a wide range of films.
It's a wide range. We'll call it either Kino De Laurentiis.
Oh!
Very nice.
Or Dino De Laurentals.
Dino De Laurentals is too good not to use. You have to use that one. And now we have mailed it to ourselves. No one else can use it. Original content, do not steal.
Anyway, we're going to let our guests talk now.
We've gotten far afield here. Jadzia, what is Flash Gordon?
Flash Gordon, and I say this with all the love and appreciation and just a deep affection for the material. Flash Gordon is a ripoff.
Yeah.
Buck Rogers came first
Sure.
and was wildly popular. And I'm not sure if the newspaper came to Alex Raymond or Alex Raymond came to the newspaper first. But the idea was to do a Buck Rogers type comic, and Alex Raymond came up with Flash Gordon, and it's better than Buck Rogers by a long yard, and it has a very different take on it. But that's how it started, as like someone being like, "This is popular, let's make a better version."
Yeah.
It's the Oreo of space comic strips, I think.
I mean, many such cases, especially in the early days of American pop culture, right?
Indeed. But Alex Raymond's comic is beautiful. He's an amazing artist and just got better as the strip went on. The later stuff is like gorgeous. And it's essentially about our titular hero, Flash Gordon, and Dale Arden, who do not know each other at the beginning. They are on a plane. The plane crashes next to... Luckily, Dr. Hans Zarkov, who is building a rocket ship to go see why the strange meteorites that caused the plane crash are happening. He has been driven mad by visions of the end of the earth, takes them at gunpoint into the rocket, and off they go into space. What is wonderful about that is not only is that the beginning of the Flash Gordon comic strip, that's also the beginning of the Flash Gordon movie. Like they kept
note for note.
Everything.
Yeah, as you were talking, I was like, oh, wow, they really kept the origin, like, identical, which I wasn't expecting. That's
great.
Good to know.
One thing about the Flash Gordon movie, directed by Mike Hodges, we should mention, from 1980, it, even more than, like, those opening minutes of the then very recent Superman film, where they start with, like, flipping through a comic book, the opening credits of Flash Gordon are all comic book snippets. It is all like,
cool.
We are doing a comic book. I think it was really cool. They went in this direction.
Yeah.
And it doesn't surprise me, I guess, that they really took that origin story verbatim. But the implication, I think, just now, you saw the first act of that is from that. Does the movie then go off in a different direction or composite a bunch of different stories together?
It composes a bunch of different stories. But the basic idea is once you get to into space, you come across, not you, but Flash. Guys aren't Flash. You might be. Who knows?
Sometime in the
Could
future,
be.
yeah.
I think part of the appeal is that Flash Gordon is just a regular guy. So, like, he's not...
A hunky,
a hunky guy.
Probably hit the gym and have a complete jaw
polo
replacement.
player.
Yeah.
And experienced fencer, but not not an astronaut, not, not a prince, just a regular guy who comes in contact with Ming the Merciless, one of the greatest villains in fiction, who is an emperor of many worlds out in space. And Flash Gordon, who comes from Earth, who does not know the rule of Ming, is like, hey, what are you doing here? Stop messing things up. And everyone's like, whoa, he stood up to Ming. That guy's got something special. And leads a revolution against Ming.
Yeah, he's got something special. He's got the spirit of American democracy running through his veins.
Absolutely. There's a lot of American exceptionalism in Flash Gordon.
Well, it's very charming in that, like, he's a character. His value basically is that he's entering a society that is so beaten down that the idea of working together to fight against Ming doesn't even occur to them anymore. It probably did centuries ago.
No.
But they've been beaten down so much and divided so much and convinced they can't do anything. They really just need somebody to show up and say, hey, what if we did something?
Yeah. At one point he says, why don't you team up? And someone says, what do you mean team up? I did not even know going into this that Flash Gordon was from Earth or that there was an Earthbound origin story. I really thought he was an alien and it was all in space. And I am the kind of person, though, that when it comes to like fantasy elements, I like the fish out of water, like a kid in King Arthur's court kind of thing, where it's like, I am a normal Joe like you, and now I have fallen into the extraordinary circumstances. And so I was delighted by that aspect of it. And I don't know if Buck Rogers is the same. I honestly don't know that.
It's basically the same.
Okay.
Buck Rogers falls into a hole into the future.
Okay, yeah. Similar idea.
I'm more familiar with Duck Dodgers. Which reminds me, I'm more familiar with Captain Proton than I am with... Captain Proton, Dalton, is... there is a running bit on Star Trek Voyager where one of the characters who is sort of inexplicably but charmingly obsessed with 1950s America has a holodeck program based on Flash Gordon, basically, but it's called Captain Proton, and all these sections are in like black and white. And they all look like old serials. Yeah, they're based on the Flash Gordon serials from the 30s. I think no, not the 30s. Maybe the 30s. I have to look it up. But it's Buster Crabbe, who in the lead is Flash Gordon. And those serials are both great and boring. It's wild. Like there's moments that are really cool. They do some amazing stuff with spaceship miniatures that is really impressive. And then there's long stretches where they're filling time.
So it's the Dragon Ball Z of its era, basically.
It might be, yeah.
We got to get our hands on Flash Gordon Kai.
Did they ever do Flash Gordon serials on Mystery Science Theater as shorts? I know they did a lot of adventure and sci-fi serials.
It's funny that you're asking me. Gordon. I feel like you would know.
Yeah.
Jadzia, are you an MST3K person?
I am, but I haven't watched them all, so who knows?
I'm not sure.
I don't remember them ever doing that. But Flash Gordon Conquers the Universe is in the public domain now. No one claims that one. So it seems like they should have done that just because it would have been free.
Ripe for riffing. So tell us how you came to Flash Gordon. Via what media did you discover him? What is your history with the expansive universe? Like, do you feel like you're a Flash Gordon completionist? Have you done it all? Or is it just certain aspects of it you've dialed into?
I mean, it would be very difficult to do it all because there's so much.
Yeah.
I've done a lot. I'm not sure where my love of this started. I've been trying to think about it for this very podcast because I knew this question was going to come. And I'm not entirely sure. I know I've always had like a love of like that 30s sci-fi aesthetic.
Same.
And I don't know where I first came to that. The closest thing I think of, there must have been a point where my newspaper, when I was growing up, because I read the funnies constantly, and now I do comics, so it's not surprising, right? But like, there must have been like a Flash Gordon in there.
Yeah.
I remember the Prince Valiant. I don't remember the Flash Gordon, but it must have been there because I don't know where else it would have happened. I thought maybe that the first exposure must have been Defenders of the Earth, which is the cartoon show from the 80s, where Flash Gordon teams up with the other King's Features pseudo superheroes, Mandrake the Magician and the Phantom, as like this weird Justice League, which doesn't work because those characters do not belong together. But I loved that show as a kid, and I thought maybe, I recently rewatched it, like maybe this is like the core text, right? But Flash Gordon's awful in that show. Mandrake and Phantom are the cool ones. Flash Gordon is like in the Cyclops role. He has to tell everybody what to do. Yeah. It's like this can't be where it started, because that's not a great Flash Gordon. I don't know.
Okay.
I just know that I love him and always have, and like I have collections of the old books. I'm really digging Dan Schicati's new Flash Gordon, and he's the one doing the strips now.
Yeah, I thought it was like relaunched in 2023. Is that right?
Yeah. And he's doing amazing work. Like those comics are so good, and really like utilizing the idea of a daily strip, how little information you can get in those.
Yeah.
And like really maximizing it for effect. He does this amazing thing that I now think is like core to anyone doing Flash Gordon in the future, which is that incredible things should happen, but nobody should act like they are incredible. They are blasé. They are run-of-the-mill. Someone using a lightning sword to start a campfire is amazing and like is given all the gravity presentation-wise that it should, but no one reacts like it's weird. And like that's how you should come to Flash Gordon, is like the incredible is mundane.
I'm tempted to check out the 2023 relaunch because I don't know, serialized newspaper strips have always kind of fascinated me.
I'm pulling it up now. I love this art style.
Yeah.
Here, have a look.
Dan's great. Dan did another comic called Lavender Jack that's also brilliant. So like everything he touches turns to gold.
Yeah, my newspaper growing up, we definitely had Prince Valiant, which I wasn't really interested in. We did not have Flash Gordon. I think Valiant was the only Sunday like serialized comic that we have, but I've done a little bit of comic writing as well, and it's such, I mean, as you know, it's all about the economy of the format, and like breaking everything down. And the struggle I had writing, 8-page shorts for years, I can't imagine the kind of how you go about breaking things down into these daily chunks so that everything feels like a piece of its own, but then it all adds up together. Like that's a challenge, and I'm fascinated by the just the idea of the serialized ones, and I'd like to dive in because I mean Flash Gordon has run since the 30s. Started right as just Sunday strips, but then was daily for decades. That's a lot of comics.
Is it daily now or is it weekly?
Yes.
Oh wow.
Even daily though, only going back to 2023, that is not too intimidating to imagine jumping back in.
Yeah.
I'm sure it's a lot.
Well, and you can jump in anywhere. Like the important thing is like Flash is a hero in space.
Yeah.
And everyone else is from various planets on Mungo. There, you're good.
I do have to ask, for the 2023, did they redesign Ming the Merciless? Because there is
kind of. He's a problem with Ming.
Yeah, let's talk about the problem.
I think we need
Ming.
to address is Ming is essentially Fu Manchu in space.
Yes,
and that's problematic on many levels.
Yeah.
One thing I've seen a lot of modern interpretations of Flash Gordon do is they do this thing that they did in Defenders of the Earth, which was to make Ming green, and if he's green, then he can't be an offensive Asian stereotype.
He can't be an Asian stereotype. He's
he's green.
Yeah.
He's like a goblin man. That's something else. Shikati does not make him green, but doesn't give him Asian features.
Yeah.
Gives him very angular features. Shikati has this great style that's almost reminiscent of like Batman the Animated Series and that Bruce Timm, but like not quite.
Yeah.
It's his own thing. And so to reduce that to the very angular features of Ming works really well because everyone else has these nice round faces. Mad Cave has done a bunch of Flash Gordon comics right now, of which Flash Gordon Quarterly is one of them.
Oh, yeah.
And their Ming is green.
Okay.
So
yeah, I mean,
it was a question we had to ask.
Yeah, I mean, we just have to bring it up for the listener because it is tricky, right? Because the 1980 film casts Max von Sydow, who legend, incredible,
we love him
as Ming the Merciless, and they don't make him look Asian. They're not doing that kind of offensive stereotype, but the design of Ming the Merciless, that Fu Manchu kind of style.
And the fact that he's called Ming.
The
name, the name is difficult. He's always in a robe that's somewhat of a kimono. And
that's the thing. A lot of the style features do come from a lot of Asian stereotypes in American media. The long mustache and beard and the bald head with the high collar and the robe, it is Fu Manchu. And even if that character is not Asian, because first of all, he's an alien, he's from Mongo, but it's still based on that archetype. And so it does occupy an uncomfortable space in 2026, let's say.
Anybody who takes this material on today will have to figure out what they're going to do about it, which we're going to have to figure out what we're going to do about it.
Well, we don't because we don't have to make anything visual right now. We're on a podcast. Yeah. But so when did you discover the film Flash Gordon?
Probably when I was a teenager. I used to work in a video store back when there were video stores. Those days. Back when I wanted to be a filmmaker, the owner of the store let me shoot a movie in there.
Hey,
so he was really cool.
I'm surprised I don't hear this film talked about more because for me, you were talking about loving the 1930s sci-fi aesthetic. I'm a big pulp fan, mostly pulp horror, as we've talked about on the show a million times, but I do love some pulp sci-fi. And one movie that I just discovered last year, I think for the first time, Forbidden Planet.
Great movie.
Yeah.
Great
movie.
Both Flash Gordon, but especially Forbidden Planet are direct ancestors to Star Trek.
Yeah, I was shocked turning on Flash Gordon. I was like, wow, this came out almost 25 years later, but it has the feel of Forbidden Planet.
Very consciously, yeah.
Yeah. Or This Island Earth, right? Even that kind of thing. This very expensive, but still stagey looking sci-fi, right?
Stagey, I think, is a good thing. Nothing looks like real, right? It all looks like a soundstage. Even the trees look like they're created out of paper mache.
Exactly.
And that's a very purposeful aesthetic, I think. I think they were trying to make everything look fake, and by that, look alien.
Yeah.
And to also evoke the old serials and to evoke that sort of artifice, that nudge, nudge, wink, wink of camp.
It was fascinating to basically see, okay, what if we took Forbidden Planet and cranked it up to the level of Barbarella?
Right. Another Dino De Laurentiis film.
Exactly. One of my favorites. What if we made straight Barbarella? And
they didn't. No, it's no.
And they failed. And they failed it off. They did it. They didn't do a good job at making the straight part. But it is
it is less convincing at being straight than Barbarella is.
Yes, that's true. It is, but it's more mass market.
I would argue
right?
it is. Again, who am I to argue this? In my spot, I think it's not as gay, but way less straight.
Okay, yeah, I can see that.
I don't know. But
Queen does the entire soundtrack.
That's fair.
Yeah, you can't say you're making a straight Barbarella movie and then hire Freddie Mercury to sing all the way through.
Oh, man, that song
That's not what
classic.
you do.
I always think it's funny because everybody knows the Flash Gordon song by Queen. Most people haven't seen the movie Flash Gordon. Everyone has seen the movie Highlander, and nobody talks about the Queen soundtrack to Highlander.
I did not even know about that.
It's good. Who Wants to Live Forever is fucking good.
It's great. It's wild that there's two major fantasy movies that both have soundtracks only by Queen, and just those two. It's not a series. It's not like Queen had several films.
And there's an entirely different guy named Brian May who did a bunch of horror soundtracks around that same time period.
Damn.
I wonder if Queen had a deal where someone would approach them to do a song for a soundtrack, and they were like, no, we're doing the whole movie or we're walking.
It's like anytime somebody used to ask Bruce Springsteen, can we use one of your songs? Like, no, I will write you a new song. You may not use one of my songs.
Freddie Mercury could have been in this, by the way. He should have gotten a cameo.
He should have been one of the Hawkmen.
Yeah, he could have fit right in.
Honestly, you could have given him, I don't know how good an actor Freddie Mercury was, but he could have played, I don't want to take Timothy Dalton out of the movie.
But he could have played
But he would have been a good fit for Timothy Dalton's character in the movie.
He could have been from Aboria.
Yeah.
He could have had a little Peter Pan tunic. He would look great.
Absolutely. We should talk about, all the things Flash Gordon influenced. Just kind of reading up on it, like Flash Gordon comics were sort of the direct inspiration for the visual look of both Superman and Batman. And this movie in particular was a direct influence on Scott Pilgrim versus the World, the film.
Yes.
Edgar Wright looked back to this, which makes total sense because this is a comic book movie recreating the comic book aesthetic as closely as possible.
My favorite is that George Lucas made Star Wars because he could not get the rights to Flash Gordon.
What a strange alternate universe we'd be living in if they had taken his call and said, sure, run with it. And instead of being like, who are you? Get out of here.
Do you think we would be watching Flash Gordon Disney Plus shows right now?
Probably yes. We probably did. Flash Gordon would
That's
probably
a wild thing.
now be owned by
I
Disney.
wonder, because part of reason Star Wars worked the way it does is because how much of it was unexpected.
Yeah.
I do wonder if like Flash Gordon goes, it bombs, and then George Lucas just makes more personal work like American Graffiti from there on out.
Yeah.
That would be truly a very different world we'd be living in now.
Very different.
And I think George Lucas would rather be living in that world right now, actually. I think if there's one person who wishes it had gone down like that, it's George Lucas.
Yeah. Curiously enough, there was never a sequel to this movie. Did it bomb? I didn't even look at that.
I don't think it bombed, but it was not successful. It's one of those things that found an audience after its theatrical run.
Okay. Because I'm fascinated by the fact, like, this is a big, expensive movie. I was really, like, Barbarella is a bit more contained because it's a little bit earlier. They probably weren't working with the same budget. But this being, like, a sort of name IP, the grand battle at the end with all, like, the Hawkmen in the sky and, like, Flash Gordon doing a 9/11 into Ming's... throne room.
That's
like,
one way to describe it, yes.
It is an expensive looking film.
Yeah, well, and this comes right off the tail of, like you said, Superman. It comes off the tail of Star Wars. Like, I'm sure they looked at this and was like, we've got a comic book movie and a space movie at the same time. This is going to do so well. This is going to totally capture the audience that loved Star Wars and Superman. Let's go. And it did not.
So strange. I don't know what they were thinking in 1980. This should be...
It was just probably just everything. If you tried to compete directly with Star Wars was still silly by all means, but technically so revolutionary, and it was so easy to immerse yourself into that world like it was real. Flash Gordon is not trying to immerse you in a real world. It's trying to immerse you in a comic book world.
It is really the opposite
that's a harder,
of Lucas's whole aesthetic.
That's a harder leap for a lot of people to make, It requires a little bit more tolerance to camp, which I was saying before the show. I have less of one, right? This was a barrier for me. I like camp fine. For me, I think there's a degree like I like the Adam West Batman, for example.
Sure.
But I think that Adam West is like nailing it as Batman. Whereas I think that where I have a problem with something like this, or we recently watched Killer Clowns from Outer Space, a movie I liked but didn't love, because I think that doing camp is really hard. And you need to you can't get a football player to be the lead of your movie and expect that to fully work. In a camp world, you need somebody who's better than the guy you would get for the boring version of the movie. You make this now, you need like a Channing Tatum type. You need somebody who looks like a hunk but is in fact really funny.
Maybe, but I like that everything seems like I almost think it works with the Flash Gordon thing for him to be this fish out of water, right? The Earthling kind of put into this, that everyone is dialed in around him and he's able to be sort of a pocket of innocence in the middle of all of it,
with camp, you need someone to be the straight man.
Yeah.
And that's why the Adam West Batman works, is because Adam West is playing it absolutely straight. Like his Bruce Wayne and Batman 100% believe every single thing that he's saying and treats it with the utmost seriousness. And that's why that show works so well and why it is wonderful. And I think you need that with Flash Gordon. You need someone who's going to be like intensely believing everything and like mean it when they say it. And maybe Sam Jones wasn't up to that. That's possible. It's an argument to be made.
I totally agree with your assessment about Adam West. I just think that his sense of timing for comedy, like he is playing drama, like the way that Michael Caine is playing drama in The Muppets Christmas Carol, right?
Agreed.
But the sense of timing that you have to interact with and sell the lunacy is something that we don't need to relitigate 1980s Flash Gordon all day.
Brian Blessed MVP.
Brian Blessed is
we can
so
say that.
good in it.
Topol as Zarkov, right?
Yeah.
This is Fiddler on the Roof, like an amazing actor.
Yeah. There's some insanely good performances in here. Timothy Dalton playing it very straight.
Yes.
Timothy Dalton doing a wonderful job.
Timothy Dalton doing Bond, basically, while
I mean, he's playing Prince Baron. He can do that in his sleep.
Yeah.
He just has to play a very smooth prince who, like, maybe has something more going on, something sinister. I don't know. That's all he has to do. And he, like, does it beautifully. Doesn't phone it in. Amazing.
I do love the Queen song, of course. I love the score that they did. Part of me does really wish for a timeline where there was a Jim Steinman score for this.
Oh.
Coming off, we were just talking before we hit record, Calvin and I are seeing the Bat Outta Hell musical on Thursday. And just imagine what Jim Steinman and Meatloaf would have done with the theme song for this movie.
Did Jim Steinman ever score a movie?
That is a great question. He must have.
If not, that is one of the greatest crimes against cinema, that there was never a Jim Steinman score for a film.
There's gotta be a Jim Steinman score.
All right, you know, we can't spend too much time talking about this. We have to get to Jadzia's pitch.
That's right. I'm going to look it up in a break.
Okay.
In our break.
All right, Jadzia, is there anything else you'd like to tell us about the extant Flash Gordon universe, multiverse, whatever you want to call it, before we focus in on just your version of it?
We talked about Ming. We talked about he rules over Mongo, but Mongo is just one of many planets. I feel like that's important. There's also Phrygia, which is ice planet, and Aboria, which is forest planet. All of this stuff is very Star Wars when you say it out loud, which is funny because it isn't. The aesthetic is so different, but it's like clearly where a lot of Star Wars springs from.
Phrygia doesn't get much time in the movie. They just kind of mention it. But we never go to Phrygia. We spend most of the time on Arborea and where are the Hawkmen from? On their little castle.
You're looking at me. This is a Jadzia question.
Yeah, I don't remember.
Yeah, no, it just fell out of my head. Hawkman planet.
Yeah, Hawkman planet.
We can't call it Thanagar. That's no good.
Right.
Although we were talking about influences, the Hawkmen did influence the character of Hawkman.
Absolutely.
They are very, very similar.
And then there's also, of course, like
characters.
Adam Strange, who's the DC character who's essentially Flash Gordon.
Yeah.
And
I love Adam Strange. Adam Strange is a character in the upcoming Justice League Intergalactic, which I wrote with Nicole Maines.
Hell yeah.
With art by Travis Moore and Tamara Bonvillain. But Adam Strange is great. Adam Strange is the DC Comics version of Flash Gordon in the sense that he's an Earth guy who gets transported via Zeta beams to Ran, which is on the other side of, I think it's even like 2 or 3 galaxies away. It's not even the other side of the galaxy. And there he has to fight very Flash Gordon battles, only to, right before he fades away and comes back to Earth, he is always just about to like make out with his Ranian girlfriend and then gets ripped away. Like Adam Strange is one of those characters who's composed entirely of longing. Right? All he wants to do is get to Ran and hang out with his girlfriend, and then a monster attacks, so he has to deal with that because there's no one on Ran who can deal with monsters. It's got to be this regular guy, Adam Strange, and then gets yanked back before he can do it.
I hate when that happens, man.
I know.
Yeah.
So he's a variation on Flash Gordon, clearly.
That must be super fun that you get to indulge in a little bit of the Flash Gordon fun in your DC work as well.
Absolutely. Well, and I love Adam Strange for his own reasons. Like I asked to have him on the team because he's just a wild character. But let's talk about what I want to do with Flash Gordon.
All right, we're going to take a quick break. No, you go ahead. We're fighting over who gets to go to the break.
No,
throw us to the break.
We both said it. We can just be a team.
All right.
We're a team, buddy.
We're going to say it at the exact same time.
We're going to take.
We're going to take.
All right. We're going to. We'll be right back, everybody.
And we are back on the Pod Universe with Jadzia Axelrod, who is going to pitch us something I can't believe doesn't exist already. The Flash Gordon cinematic universe. In fact, there has not been a cinematic Flash Gordon since 1980.
There's been a couple television
things, but in this age of IP, I mean, the Masters of the Universe movie is coming out this year. I can't believe we haven't gotten a Flash Gordon or a Buck Rogers.
It's crazy that there's no Flash Gordon cinematic universe, so we're gonna make for one right now.
I just think that the main stumbling block for doing a Flash Gordon movie, and this may be why it hasn't gotten off the ground since 1980, is that you have to go whole hog, right? Like, there's no half measures. Every time they've tried to do like a low-key Flash Gordon, like some of the television shows, it never quite works, right? Because you need that sense of opera, that expansive vision that Alex Raymond had that was really the draw of the comic. And so, like, that's something that maybe can only be found at a time when everyone was on cocaine. And now...
Well, speaking of being on cocaine, I did read that apparently Taika Waititi is developing a Flash Gordon thing right now, but that's been for years.
I trust him. I trust him with it.
I think the problem is that it's just harder to get good cocaine now.
And
we need to find out what is the right drug to make a modern take on Flash Gordon.
Well, maybe the right drug, what Taika Waititi is threesomes with actresses, because that seems to be what he's up to these days. So maybe
whatever works.
None of my business.
That's kind of Flash Gordon gets pretty close in the 1980 movie. So anyway, we're getting off track. What do you have for us today? What is your vision for the?
All right, so we got to start. Obviously, movie 1, Flash Gordon.
Love that. Yeah,
I'm gonna deviate. I'm gonna commit an incredible sin here.
Okay,
and deviate from the source material.
I know.
Good. We like that.
Yeah.
Because it's always bothered me that Flash and Dale and Zarkov didn't know each other before they got on that rocket ship.
Yeah.
That I didn't like it in the movie. And then when I did my research years later to like, well, how does the actual comic start? It's like the same way. No, they need to have some history. So my take is this, all right? We spend a little more time on Earth just to set up these 3 characters, because these are the heart and soul of not just this movie, but our cinematic universe.
Of course.
So we got to really know them and love them. So we start at a university. We have Flash Gordon, scholarship student. They're on a fencing scholarship. Why is there fencing? Because there's a lot of sword fighting in Flash Gordon stories. I don't know why that is. It's not as ray gun heavy as you would think. A lot of sword fighting. My kid was reading some of my Flash Gordon collections, and they were reading it, and it was like, this is more like Knights and then space. I was like, that's true. A lot of swords.
Well, in the movie, they take away his fencing background and polo background and just make him a football player, which
the quarterback for the Jets, which just makes it like,
for the Jets.
We need you back, Flash.
Yeah. Which does lead to the great sequence where he's like beating all the minions by
playing
using
football basically
moves.
By playing football.
But no, we get
very inspired.
I like that we're returning. You said you're deviating from the source material, but we're also kind of returning in the way to the fencing.
Yeah,
background.
we're keeping the fencing because we do want to have sword fights. I think sword fights are great. I'm not against sword fights. I just think it's funny. So, but who's his rival on the fencing team? None other than super whip smart rich girl Dale Arden.
Lovely.
Yeah, so they start as rivals. Is there more there? Is there a romantic bit? Maybe, but
Enemies
they start
to
by
lovers?
hating each other. Yeah.
Heated rivalry.
Dale works closely with the main benefactor for the university, doing a lot of research, Hans Zarkov. I think we can reimagine Hans Zarkov as like, what if we have all these dumb science billionaires right now?
Yeah.
But what if we had a good science billionaire?
Oh, interesting. What would that look like?
Right. I'm I'm not sure. But like, what if SpaceX was actually cool? So it's like some guy who wants to do an independent space stuff, works with NASA, but also is like really into green energy, let's say. We got to make sure that we're not making Zarkov Elon Musk.
Yeah.
So yes, he's a brilliant scientist into space, but also he's not that guy who's a charlatan.
Yeah.
That's, I think, is very clear that we have to make. So at some point, disaster in the sky, obviously.
Sure.
We got to have disaster in the sky. What's going on? Dale knows what's going on or how they can find out. They go to Zarkov's lab. He's a smart guy. He's working on space. He's got a prototype Space Z, Space Z spaceship ready to go. Like, I bet he knows what's going on. And so Flash and Dale, who at this point, maybe they're starting to soften up on each other. Maybe Dale finds out that even though Flash feels like this guy who's got everything, he's actually just a regular dude who like worked really hard.
Yeah.
And Flash is realizing that Dale, even though it seems like she's been handed everything, she's a rich girl, but she's also had to work really hard because no one respects her as a woman. They find a common ground right when the sky falls. Oh no!
That hot hail comes.
I know.
Come falling
right
out
down.
of the sky. Yeah.
They get to Zarkov's and they're like, "What's going on?" And he's like, "I don't know. We're prepping the spaceship for emergency launch. We're gonna go up there and find out." And then, like, the crew for this spaceship is on their way. And then they get hit by a meteorite. No crew! What they're gonna do?
Well, we got 3 people ready to go.
We got 3 people right here. And off they go into Mongo, into space, through the wormhole, crash land on Mongo, and come face to face with all of the weirdness up there. Again, we're sparing no expense. This is an opera. This is larger than life. We've got Ming there. We've got Clytus. We've got Prince Baron. Everybody's there.
We're using
Everything.
the same lizard men suits from the 1980 film.
Well, maybe a CGI lizard man. Maybe.
Puppet.
Maybe
some puppetry. Some
definitely some puppetry. And
puppets.
definitely, like, the dragon men, those guys got makeup. For sure.
Cool.
All right. The lion men, absolutely makeup.
Yeah.
I want to see animatronic heads.
Love that. Okay, cool.
Lizard men, though, we do CGI.
I want practical wings on the Hawkmen, at least when they're just standing around.
Yes, yeah.
Of course. I mean, we all saw Dungeons and Dragons, Honors Among Thieves. All those practical monsters, amazing. That's our touchstone here.
Great.
Can we bring Jarnathan into this movie, just like as a cameo?
I do not see why not.
Cameo
I do
for
not see why
Jarnathan.
not.
Are we bringing Justice Smith into this movie?
Maybe.
For reference, we have a long-running bit where, for a long time, every guest came in and cast Justice Smith in the lead of their movie, to the extent that when we started our new universe, we just have Justice Smith as the lead of our franchise.
We got a lot of Justice Smith. Did you have any casting in mind for our 3 leads?
Well, I was going to say Justice Smith, but
we can. This
is a separate franchise from ours. We
Yeah.
can double cast.
Justice Smith in our kayfabe is the biggest movie star in the world. Like,
he should be. He's a
Highest
very
grossing,
talented
easily.
gentleman. No, I hadn't really thought much about casting because I wanted to give you guys something to do.
Okay, well, we love that.
And also, I don't know who actors are anymore. I'm a parent, so I'm not watching movies anymore. And so, like, my reference is a solid 10, 15 years out of date.
Well, I would say that watching the 1980 film, I think it was just the gap in his teeth. But all I could think of for Zarnov was Jermaine Clement.
Jermaine Clement as Zarkov is very good.
Like,
it's very good.
The kind of manic comic energy. I
would also accept Matt Berry. Matt Berry as Zarkov would be
Matt Berry as
That
Zarkov
would be good.
I liked Jermaine, but I'm team Matt Berry for this.
Matt Berry
and it's
could
crazy.
be good,
We
yeah.
have never cast Matt Berry.
That is true.
In 3 to 4 years of this show, we have never picked Matt Berry. let's
that's a
cast
shame.
Matt Berry.
We gotta noodle on.
Zarkov.
Yeah, let's think about Flash, because Flash.
We need a top tier himbo with good, who can do Ernest. Because like Jadzia was saying, we need somebody who can be the fish out of water who sells it. But I'm gonna insist on.
But he's
somebody...
also young, because we need to do 8 movies.
Yes.
So like, we got to get him young.
We should probably not just pick Glenn Powell.
No, too old.
Too old. Okay. We need someone younger.
He's our age or older. We need somebody younger than Glenn Powell.
Okay.
And-
well, let's move on for now, and we'll think about it and browse through Letterboxd.
Let me go through movies with young people made in the last couple of years. There are some of those.
There's many.
We're gonna disqualify all Euphoria cast members as played out. They're done. We've used them all. No more Euphoria cast members.
What about Zendaya as Dale, though? That's kind of fun.
Zendaya as Dale is kind of fun.
Dale. Yeah,
Kinda
you know,
fun.
Kind of
first of all,
fun, right?
She's got lots of range. She doesn't get to, and she can do. I like the idea of putting her in camp, because that's something she hasn't gotten to do very much. Outside of like the deadpan role in Spider-Man movies, she does not get to do camp.
And she's very funny.
We should let her do Dune silly version.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is that her already being in Dune makes her casting in this a joke. Like,
Nah, that's true.
Whether
That's
or not we
true.
want that.
Yeah.
Do we have a non-union equivalent of Zendaya that we could cast?
The store brand. Well, we'll keep thinking about it. Let's
What
Keep
about
moving.
Ming? Who plays our Ming?
well,
Christopher Lee's dead, so that's too bad.
that's the thing is, Max von Sydow giving a very Christopher Lee performance.
Yes, and he also passed a couple years ago.
Yeah.
Is Hugo Weaving still alive? I think so.
Yes, he is.
Ooh.
Hugo Weaving is a very good choice.
That is
for
a good
this.
choice for Ming.
And you know, he hasn't been super visible lately, so this would be like a career resurgence role for him.
And he's already used to doing Yellowface from that.
Nope. We do
from
not.
Cloud
We do not
Atlas.
slander Cloud Atlas here. Cloud Atlas is a masterpiece with
saying,
one
you know,
really big problem with it. There
one
is
very big
exactly
problem.
one thing wrong with Cloud Atlas, and it has to be addressed, but is otherwise an unimpeachable masterpiece. I will tolerate exactly that much slander of Cloud Atlas.
All right. Well, we'll think about casting. These are our leads.
We'll think about
We've got some
casting.
time.
We'll think about
Wachowski,
casting.
please come on the show.
Flash and Dale and Zarkov rally the people, right? This is a story of a revolution. This is Les Mis, but in space, right? So they have to get Prince Baron on their side. They have to get the Hawkmen on their side. They have to get Phrygia on their side, because there's a lot of cool things in Phrygia we never do with. All of the worlds have to fall under the banner of this guy who, like, is very charismatic and stands up to Ming and doesn't understand why other people don't. The cool thing about Flash Gordon, and this is why I like him as a character, is that he does not go around obstacles. Like, every obstacle must be met head on and must be destroyed. Like, this is not someone who's like, I'm going to think up a tricky plot around this. He's like, no, direct action. That's what we need. And that's the hero we need right now, quite frankly.
Mm-hmm.
So they all rise up together. He leads them to defeat Ming. There's a final sword fight between Hugo Weaving and whoever the kid is we pick for Flash Gordon.
Yep.
And Ming's gone. Ming's dead. Flash wins. Huge party. Everything's great. Until movie 2, Dale Arden. That's right. We focus on Dale next.
Okay.
And this is a political thriller because there's a power vacuum now in Mongo. Everybody's strangling for it. And it's Dale who keeps people from there being a new emperor. And instead, everyone's more on like you're a prince, you're a princess, you're a ruler, but none of you are emperor. Let's be clear. And there's all sorts of political machinations that happen there. There's some romance between her and Prince Baron and Flash and possibly, what's her name? Aura?
Yeah,
Yes.
Aura.
Princess Aura? Yeah. Let's get a
Yeah.
4-way in there. I don't see why
For
not.
sure.
Oh.
Look, they're pillow fighting in the movie. Like we can follow up on that.
Let's go. Yeah, this year starts with a 2. We can get actual
Yeah.
sapphic like makeouts into this. Come on.
I want to interrupt quickly because I think I have a good pick for Flash.
I have a Flash
Let's hear it.
option as well.
Nicholas Galitzine.
That's who I would. That's who I picked.
Who
Hell
is
yeah.
this?
This is all right. I will send you. I will just hold this picture up to the. This is him.
Did you see Bottoms by chance?
Oh, I haven't, but that's great.
And outside of Bottoms, he's pretty much exclusively done like rom-coms.
Yes, he is a romantic
fantastic.
lead.
Yeah.
He's in The Idea of You, Red, White, and Royal Blue, Cinderella. He was born in 1994. That's around our target age, I suppose.
Wait, Red, White, and Royal Blue? That's the gay one. He did a gay romance?
Hold
Perfect.
on.
Perfect.
Here's why we can't use him.
Why?
He's
Why?
fucking a He-Man.
God damn it!
He's already He-Man. They
he's
stole
already
him.
He-Man.
I didn't even recognize him. He put on too much. He put on all that fucking shoulder weight. God
And he
damn
put the
it.
blonde wig on. They already stole him for He-Man.
And
Already
he looks great.
fuck.
Dang it.
God
All
damn
right.
it.
Sorry
Let's
for
think of a new
screaming in
one.
your ears, Jadzia. That was.
It's okay.
You and I just invented He-Man from first principles.
It really did. Really did.
All right. Okay, back to Dale. Back
All right,
to
we'll
Dale
come
and
back
her-
to it.
Dale.
We're gonna come
Political
to
So
the
right.
intrigue.
So
Back
there's
to
all
Dale's
this political
movie.
infighting and backstabbing, but Dale figures it out and like meets it head on. And Flash is actually a supporting character in this movie.
Cool.
We're mainly focusing on Dale. We're focusing on her relationship with Prince Baron, her relationship with Aura, Princess Aura, her relationship with the nitty gritty of like, what do you do when Ming is gone?
Yeah. We're building a new society here, a new
We're
power
building
structure.
a new society.
Yeah.
There's an assassination attempt. It's thwarted by quick thinking from Dale and also Flash being there and helping out. Because again, Flash is great. If there's an obstacle, you just point him at it and he'll take care of it.
Yeah.
But Dale is the more strategic thinker of the two.
Mm-hmm.
Then, movie 3, Zarkov.
Everyone's splitting off into their own franchises.
Exactly. This is our romantic movie.
Interesting.
Yeah, he's our more romantic lead, which is why
Okay.
Matt Berry would be such a great casting.
Yes. Yeah, that does work. Yeah.
All right. So Zarkov finds himself in the middle of a love triangle between the princess of Phrygia and the princess of, oh crap, what's the underwater world? The underwater world.
The underwater world. It wasn't in the movie, so I don't know.
No. Is he going to make out with an ice princess or a fish woman? We don't know, but he's into both. This is our comedy. It's a romantic comedy. It's Zarkov being flustered of being a romantic. He's surprised that he is so attractive in space as well. Like it's all very like, oh, and it's a lot of fun. But what happens in the midst of this romantic comedy that seems like a bunch of fluff? We discover someone is going to try to fill the vacuum left by Ming. And that someone is Queen Azura, the Witch Queen, who is coming forth to claim that. And that's where the romantic comedy ends and leads right into Flash Gordon 2, where our heroes have to defeat the magically empowered Witch Queen Azura.
So she ends up being the sort of big bad of this arc.
Yeah, right. She's there to become the new empress of Mongo and to enslave people in Ming's shadow.
Okay. Loving this. I love the way this is something that we try to do in our own universe. The way that you are playing hopscotch between these genres and that they're all going to be science fiction movies because it's Flash Gordon. But we can do different flavors of that with each character in the lead. And so they each can have their own sequels that like you'll know that your Zarkov movie is going to be a romantic comedy, and your Flash Gordon movie is going to be action adventure, and your Dale movie is going to be a thriller of some kind. And you can jump through all of these. They can each have their own lane, and it all points in the same direction. I think that that's really exciting.
So that means basically, so in this cinematic universe, our Avengers movies are kind of Flash Gordon movies.
Yes.
We're sort of...
hold that thought. Put a pin in that.
Okay,
Put a
we
pin
might
in that.
do something bigger. Okay.
Yeah. We're just getting started.
Let me not
We're
get
only
ahead.
halfway through. All right. So in keeping with that genre hopping, which we're doing, this is more of a fantasy quest film because they need certain things to defeat Queen Azura because she's got magic powers. These are science guys. They don't know how to deal with magic. They have to go on a quest They have to find this certain MacGuffins in order to create the ultimate weapon to defeat Queen Azura. It's kind of a one ring quest sort of thing, and they got to do it. But they do it on the different worlds.
So we each have these unique settings that we can split between, right? Because we have our ice world, we have our water world, our tree world, etc.
Exactly. Our sky world, all of that.
Although we'll probably, since we have been in this world now for 3 movies, we may want to have some new worlds get involved.
I'm sure
we do.
Okay.
Is there like a larger galaxy of worlds that have been generated already from the comics, or do they tend to stick between those classic ones? There have to have been new ones made, right?
Oh yeah, there's new worlds all the time. My guy. There's so many
I figured,
many worlds
I just didn't want to
enslaved
make
under
any assumptions.
Mongo. Yeah. We're gonna hit this is a nice way to like bounce to a bunch of worlds at once and like pick up all the ones we haven't already gone to. Maybe we do a few bits in like Aboria because that's fun. This is also where we meet a new character who will later be revealed, but we don't know it at the beginning. This is at the reveal at the end that this is Ming's son.
Ah, okay. Son of Ming.
A Mingling, if you will.
And let me look up his name because I thought I had it in my notes and I don't.
Is this a real character from the comics?
This is a character from Defenders of the Earth.
Oh, okay.
This guy was great because he was such a fail son in the show and like always trying to be cool and be like Ming and couldn't do it. Prince Crotan.
Prince Crotan.
We don't know it's Crotan, right? We don't know. He's in disguise. We think he's helping, but actually he's hindering.
I hate when a Mingling hinders.
Right? And then at the end, they defeat Azura, but in doing so, pave the way for Prince Crotan to resurrect Ming at the end of the movie.
Aha. So
Well,
we
we
got
gotta
to bring
bring
back
Ming
the
back,
classic
yeah.
villain for the third one.
Well, and where is Ming going to start his thing? He's going to start conquering anew, and he's going to start with Earth to get his revenge on Flash Gordon. It's going to take more than the 3 of them to defeat someone who's coming to Earth. They're going to need some defenders of the Earth. Smash cut to the jungles of Africa, and we see the Phantom, the ghost who walks, kicking ass and punching people in the face with a skull ring. The next film is the Phantom.
Hell
Nice.
yeah. Hell yeah. This is what I was hoping. Yeah. Because although you said in the first half that these are characters that do not go well together.
They don't. But I love them, so they're going to have to.
I mean, you can say the same thing about the Justice League and the Avengers, right?
Right,
And what we have the ability to
yeah.
do, we can build that runway now. You don't have to start with the premise of this is a cartoon starring all these characters don't belong together. We can set the Phantom also overdue for a relaunch.
Absolutely.
Overdue. I think they're working on one right now, actually.
I do want to interrupt because I do have another option for Flash Gordon.
As do I. I have 2 lined up.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, you can go first.
No, let's say it on the count of 3. Maybe we've got the same one again.
1, 2, 3. Charles
Joseph
Melton.
Zeta. Charles Melton.
Yes, we've cast him in a similar role.
We've already got him in the pod
We've cast him in
universe.
a similar role, but he is an I guess a little bit on the older side, but he has the right sort of like himbo energy.
I got a younger twink.
Younger twink, okay.
I love that.
Joseph Zeta is the lead of the new Hunger Games movie. He is, I mean, look at this guy. That's
I could see it.
I was going to say it's just sort of a lazy pick, but I was going to say maybe Will Poulter. I kind of like yours.
I think Will Poulter's a little old.
A little bit old, too. But also, first of all, I like that this is a guy who I've just heard of, so I can't evaluate as a performer, but I do think he has the look, and I do like that it's not the most obvious person we could think of. I have not seen any of the new Hunger Games movies.
I have not either,
lie.
but he's a young, rising, blonde, handsome...
Okay.
You know, this would be like his real star-making role. I'm assuming that the new Hunger Games.
The Hunger Games movies would be a big star-making role.
You know, they're not as big as they used to be.
Multi-billion-dollar franchise, and he is the number one.
Well, since he's a star made by the Hunger Games,
that'll help us
he can
sell
now
our Flash Gordon. Yeah,
we can sell
there
the
we
Flash
go.
Gordon.
We have solved our big casting conundrum. All right, back to you, Jadzia, the Phantom.
Right. So we have a Phantom story. We get everyone caught up on who the Phantom is, why he's cool. For those of you who don't know, he's a purple ninja who lives in the jungles of Africa. He's a white guy, so that's problematic. But
maybe we change that.
It doesn't have to be.
Yeah, it doesn't have to be.
It kind of does because it's... But I think we can... Well, all right. It doesn't have to be because actually I did have a really good casting option for the Phantom. Should we want to do it?
Okay.
Which is Manny Jacinto.
Oh,
we love Manny
hell
Jacinto.
Yeah, so I think he would be a great as a Kit Walker / the Phantom. I think he could pull off the Ghost Who Walks gravitas.
Hell yeah.
But also be like a goofy, like regular guy when needs to be. I feel like he would be great as the Phantom.
Great. Awesome. So do you want to go into more detail about your Phantom take? Or
basically, we just want to set up who the Phantom is.
Sure.
I'd like to bring in the Phantom's daughter from Defenders of the Earth just so we can get more women in there.
Mm-hmm.
I think it'd be good to have a movie set on Earth, at this point in the franchise too,
And then we have a jungle adventure. It's just a solid jungle adventure. It's set in the same time period, modern times, as The Flash Gordon. It's great. At the end, who does he run into? Mandrake the Magician.
Of course.
All right, that one I don't know anything about.
That is a character I know nothing about, but I trust you. I mean, from Defenders of Tomorrow, right?
Defenders of the Earth.
Defenders of the Earth,
Defenders of the Earth, right.
How dare you?
I don't know what I'm thinking of.
It is a guy who has a career as a stage magician, but actually knows sorcery.
Oh, I love that.
This dude knows black magic, but also does stage magic.
I got to go back and read
DC
that one.
character Zatanna is, or rather her father Zatara is heavily based on Mandrake the Magician.
Cool.
So we have a stage magician, the Phantom, and Flash Gordon. Love that.
Yeah, well, and also Lothar. Lothar is Mandrake the Magician's constant companion.
Okay.
If you read those comics now, those men are lovers.
Okay.
Great.
But they are never acknowledged as such in the books.
Sure.
Or the cartoon or anything, but they are so tight. They are essentially like forever guys.
Mm-hmm.
And I would like to make that explicit.
Sure.
Yeah.
These guys are, it's a gay magician and a black adventurer, and they love each other very much. Mm-hmm. And they're raising a kid that they found on the streets who's like a pickpocket. All of this.
Lovely.
They're having great adventures.
Terrific. Cut the check.
So we have one Mandrake the Magician movie with Lothar, with the little pickpocket that they pick up. It's wonderful family fare. This is just a heartwarming film about two gay dads fighting evil with magic and also brute strength.
Let's just call it Mandrake and Lothar.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't see why not.
We'll make the movie that Now You See Me should have been, which is a story about stage magicians
who actually do magic.
Who explicitly do magic.
Yeah, they can't make up their fucking minds, can they?
No, and it pisses me off. Anyway, I've talked about that before. Anyway.
All the stage magic in this magic movie, all the stage magic will be done practically in camera.
Yes.
That's the other thing that drives me crazy about those movies.
Yeah. It's all CGI.
The cool thing about stage magic is they're doing it in front of you. If you do it all and it's obviously CGI, it's boring.
Yes.
Anyway, I apologize for our digression. This is an ongoing thing with us.
Right. And we want to have a difference between the stage magic and the actual sorcery cool magic that he does. So that's special effects and cool stuff. I would love that also to be practical effects as much as we can do, because you can do so much cool magic stuff with practical effects.
Yeah.
It doesn't all have to be CGI dragons.
Mm-hmm.
So
we're all in favor of that.
But maybe even get an actual magician to play Mandrake. That would be awesome.
Yeah.
Dalton, you're a magician.
I know a couple card tricks. Let's not get... I've taken one lesson. I'm not... I'll try to get up to snuff by the time we greenlight this
Dalton
one.
has thrilled me with a handful of close-up magic tricks.
Look.
Amazing.
I'm a hobbyist at this.
What's next, Jadzia?
So we have our guys, and this leads into our Avengers movie, Defenders of the Earth.
Of course. And this is where they go back up against me.
Right. And they have their team. We've got Mandrake. We've got the Phantom. We've got Lothar. We've got Flash Gordon. We've got Dale. We've got Zarkov. Everybody's ready for this last-ditch effort against Ming the Merciless, bringing the fight to Earth.
This
is
that.
Yes.
Yeah, so this one will be our first Flash Gordon movie on Earth. They're finally back on Earth, and they're fighting, joined by these three other dudes, and they're kicking ass and taking names.
I love that. And I like that we stay off Earth for so long.
Mm-hmm.
And also because, like, where I thought you were going to go is the Flash Gordon movie, the 1981, is sort of a getting the Avengers together type movie, right? Like, he's going around to the different moons and planets and getting the team together, getting everyone to team up. And so I thought maybe we were going to spend time with, like, just Flash, and Ming would be our first arc baddie, but like then we'd have a movie about Arborea, and then he would join the team, and a movie about the Hawkmen, and they would join the team. But I like this better, where we just remake the first movie instead of sort of surf Dracula.
Not decompressing it. Yeah,
we're not decompressing
because that's
it.
like you could do that if you were doing like a 10-episode miniseries.
Yeah,
right. But if you're doing one movie, I think the shape of the extant Flash Gordon movie is terrific.
Yeah. And this still leaves us open after the what is it? Defenders of what?
Defenders of the Earth.
Of the Earth. That makes
sense. The planet you're on.
Yes. Have you heard of it?
I keep wanting to say Tomorrow. I don't know where that's
coming
from.
Well, because you're thinking of DC's Legends of Tomorrow.
I probably am.
A show that once it gets silly, you might actually like.
Yeah,
it's really good. You just got to hold out until they have Barack Obama and Gorilla Grodd.
Yeah.
Once you have that episode.
Barack Obama, it will almost be an honor to kill you.
With some real Flash Gordon energy eventually. Yeah,
I'll skip to that one.
Like every other show in the Arrowverse, they start off being, well, we're going to do it for real. We're going to do a serious thing this time. And then realizing about 2 seasons in, no, we're not.
Nah.
This is stupid. Well, this serial is goofy as hell, and that's how we should present it.
Once we get past Defenders of the Earth, we can do a Prince Baron solo movie. We can do the Hawkmen movie,
yes.
and spread out and explore those characters as well.
We can get into a multi-million-dollar lawsuit over whether or not we can call the movie The Hawkmen.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, we don't call it The Hawkmen. We call it, oh, man.
Voltan and the Boys.
Dan Cicotti had a great Hawkman character who's a woman. So we do a movie about her instead of Brian Blessed's character.
Yeah, Hawk Girl.
She has a cool name. We'll just use that.
Yeah, we'll use that.
And we do a movie about her. We do a movie about Prince Baron. All of this stuff, our cinematic universe is set. If we want to do another Defenders of the Earth movie, we can. We want to do more Phantom, more Mandrake, more Lothar. We're all set. All the pieces are in place.
I have one last question because I think you've built a really solid universe here, and this sort of extended first phase sort of building up to this.
It's really the first 2 phases.
Yeah, kind of, if we count Flash Gordon 2 sort of as the first phase, Is there in the Flash Gordon mythos a villain above Ming that could end up being the sort of saga villain that maybe even at the end of phase 3 or 4, Ming has to team up with them to try to defeat?
Is there a place we can go after we have resurrected and defeated Ming, or does that have to be basically the cap on the cosmic Flash Gordon portion of our universe? I'm okay with the answer being that has to be end of that. I think that an ending is okay to have. We like endings here, but out of curiosity, is that basically the ceiling?
Is there Flash after Ming?
There is Flash after Ming. And I think, again, to go back to the great stuff that Dan Cicotti is doing, like he starts his reboot with Ming destroyed. Ming is dead at the beginning.
Okay.
And but casts a long shadow over everyone.
Yeah.
And so there's a lot of like the Witch Queen Azura, there's a lot of not quite Ming level baddies that we can bring up. I think the leader of the Sharkmen definitely, those guys look great. So we want to, and we'll see them in the Dale Arden movie as they try to struggle for power in the vacuum that Ming has left. I think it's okay though, after the first movie, that we only bring Ming back for the tentpole everybody gets together. And then in the individual movies, it's smaller threats.
Yeah. But then, so in your mind, would we end up eventually doing a Defenders of the Earth 2?
I think we could, because you can always have Ming team up with his son or his daughter. I mean, there's other villains we can have with Ming if we want to do that. We could do like a Legion of Doom with Ming and other villains from the Flash Gordon and Mandrake and Phantom Universe.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we can do, the Council of Mings with all the multiversal Mings teaming up.
That's right. No one has done that. So we can do that now.
Yes. We were maybe going to get a bunch of Kangs, but the Kangs are no more. So we can do the Mings.
Kang Dynasty didn't happen. Which
Yeah.
leaves room for
The Ming Dynasty.
The Ming Dynasty.
Yeah.
Oh no!
Defenders of the Earth 3, the
we
Ming
will
Dynasty.
not be calling it that.
We can't call it that.
We cannot call it that. Yeah, I think this is definitely getting greenlit, and it seems like we have our Flash Gordon, we have our Zarkov, Matt Berry, we potentially have our Dale in Zendaya, or do we want to rethink Dale?
No, I mean, that's a good pull from, again, we're talking about people who can open a movie.
Yeah.
Right? She's one of the 3 people who can do that.
We have Hugo Weaving as Ming the Merciless.
Right.
And then also, if we want to be cute and have Samara Weaving play Princess Aura, we could ask if she wants to do that, if they want to act
That
together.
would be fun.
Oh,
that
is
would be
cute.
fun.
Love Samara Weaving. Getting her in like a sci-fi villainess role, hell yeah.
Yeah, I feel like she'd eat that up.
Yeah, she'd do great. Get her out of Scream Queen land and into space opera town.
Yeah, I'm normal about whatever outfit she'd be wearing in the movie.
I'm normal about all the outfits they wear in the 1980 movie for sure.
Yeah, the costuming has to be impeccable. Like
Yeah.
who did the costumes for the recent Lady Gaga and Doechii video? Get that guy.
Yeah, we're getting that person for sure. We're getting a pop music video costuming person.
I'm just having such a laugh at we do the movie that is a political thriller in space, but all of the players in the political thriller are like, okay, well, here's our hairy-chested Hawkmen figure. They're doing like scenes like dim lit, like key light across the eye, like we're talking about heavy political things, and it's like, yeah, you are missing a shirt though. We can't give you one. That's not part of your culture.
You are wearing the Lady Gaga meat dress right now,
Right.
and that's okay.
And that's okay.
Well, this is wonderful. I think the Flash Gordon cinematic universe is a hit. We're going to beat Taika Waititi to it.
Mm-hmm.
Excellent.
I think that's going to be easy
That
to
guy's
do.
had it too good for too long.
Too good for too long. We need more camp. We need to, like, watching the 1980 Flash Gordon movie is like, goddamn, nobody makes movies like this anymore. And I know we say that about a lot of things, but really, who is...
I mean, camp in this category, the closest thing is like Thor Ragnarok and Love and Thunder. That's like really the closest we've gotten.
I have a theory about that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Because I do think that camp requires a certain level of artifice that can only happen when you have an actual stage.
Yes.
And so many big budget movies now are done on green screens and things where there is that level of artifice because it's like they're not in a real place, but also it doesn't feel the same. And so you can't have that sort of camp artifice that you have when it's an actual set.
Even Doctor Who is starting to lose that artifice for that very reason. Like, Doctor Who has been a bastion of like almost like community theater science fiction on TV for decades. And now they got that Disney money. And even before that, during like the Moffat era, when they were a huge pop culture international sensation, they just had too much money to spend. They spent too much money, and it's just not as cute anymore.
Yeah,
even with Ncuti Gatwa, can you imagine getting Ncuti Gatwa and still not being cute?
I mean, some of the best episodes are like that one Peter Capaldi, where he's like in a castle and just talking to the camera.
Yes,
the whole time. Like that's one of the best Doctor Who's episodes ever.
Yeah,
and it's part of it is because they're in a real location, and it's like, and it feels like proper Doctor Who.
Yeah, fantastic episode.
We will be having actual sets on these movies.
Well, I was going to say, the nice thing about Flash Gordon, knowing these planets that are going to recur, as soon as the first movie gets greenlit, we are getting a big-ass studio in like the UK or Georgia or somewhere. We're building Mongo. We're building Arborea.
Yes,
and we are just leaving them up for the next decade.
Standing set. We're gonna keep them at. We're gonna christen it the Brian Blessed Studios at Pinewood.
Yes,
that is the stage that we're using.
Yep,
correct.
And we can iterate on them for every movie, right? But like,
and Doctor Who can borrow them.
Yeah, we'll let Doctor Who use
We'll loan
them.
him out. Yeah, that's another income stream. That's great.
Exactly. Jadzia, this was incredible. I hope we get to make this a reality very soon, and I'm sure that we will. But until then,
hire me to write them when you do.
Oh, of course.
Yes,
it's your ideas. We can't steal your IP.
We'll have published this. So if this episode mysteriously disappears, that's probably when you should start calling your lawyer.
Fair enough.
But yes, you have some real stories and art coming out soon that you're excited about and that we're excited to hear about from you. What is coming down the pike from Jadzia Axelrod this year?
Justice League Intergalactic Special, which comes out the day after we record this, and will already be out for weeks when it goes up.
In stores now.
In stores now is a one-shot that I wrote with Nicole Maines, and then it was drawn by Travis Moore, colored by Tamara Bonvillain, and it's a really wonderful, like double-sized classic space adventure. We get the character I created with Vash Taylor, Galaxy, and the character Nicole played on the Supergirl show and is subsequently written in various comics. Dreamer. They are teaming up with Adam Strange and Star Sapphire and Green Arrow for a space adventure on the planet Naltar to defeat the Witch Queen, who is similar to Azura, the Witch Queen, but different.
Legally
She's an old
distinct.
She is an old Green Lantern villain.
Green Lantern has borrowed no small amount, I'm sure, from Flash Gordon over the decades.
He really has. She had one appearance way back. She's an old Denny O'Neil character from the hard traveling Heroes era of the Green Lantern, Green Arrow stories. One appearance, which is wild because she's amazing. She's like Sinestro's sister. She has a huge bouffant and I love her. So glad we got to bring her up. And then a week after that comes out, which is a couple weeks in the past when this comes out, there's Galaxy As the World Falls Down, which is the sequel to Galaxy the Prettiest Star, my first book with DC. And that was written by me and drawn by, not Vash Taylor this time, Rye Hickman, who's incredible, lettered by Jody Troutman, who's amazing.
Hi,
that
Jody.
book.
Hey, Jody, Blue Sky Mutual.
Yes.
We love Jody.
Jody's
Jody's
homie.
incredible. I'm really proud of that book. That's one of my favorite things I've written so far. It's a really wonderful story about like superheroes and alien invasions and all that, but also about what do you do after you come out? We have so many coming out stories, and those are great, and I think those are important. But we have so few stories about like, all right, you've come out. Now what? What happens then? How do you navigate that? Being part of a subculture that you weren't aware that you were part of before.
Yeah.
And feeling more vulnerable now that you are that part of that subculture and all of that stuff, all of those emotions baked into that. So it's really great to do a story about that and that feeling and to blow up the emotions to superhero level.
Yeah.
Superman is in it, which is wonderful. Ma Hunkel, the Golden Age Red Tornado, is in it. Yeah, I love her. I've been trying to get her in every DC project that I've been working on. I asked, can I put Ma Hunkel in this? They've told me no every single time until this book. And I'm so glad because this is where she needed to be. And I love that. So we have these kind
love that there's an editor with a vice-like grip on Ma Hunkel.
There's a lot of reasons. Like we couldn't put her in Hawk Girl because they didn't want any JSA characters. And she's technically a JSA character.
I also
things like
that you were like, oh, yeah, you know Superman's in this book. I wrote Superman,
but
whatever. But
listen,
Ma Hunkel,
Superman is everywhere.
That's
okay?
who I've been fighting.
Ma Hunkel,
right?
it's like I have this fantasy of getting to do a Batman story and bringing back a villain that was in one issue of like Shadows of the Bat in 1995 called The Ugly American. And just imagining that like there's somebody in the editorial who's like, he's never appeared again for a reason. That one's mine.
Oh, I
decide if the Ugly American comes back.
If I ever got to write Batman, Egghead, Vincent Price's Egghead from the Adam West series,
the cover
absolutely would be in it. Yeah, the cover would be a recreation of the like promo
that
shot.
famous picture of him holding the egg.
Of course.
The egg.
Yes.
Yeah.
Anyway, excited that you very happy for you to get to work with Ma Hunkel.
Yeah. And Superman. very exciting.
Sure,
yeah,
Superman,
but who cares?
whatever.
Yeah, and it's so it's a great story. I'm super happy with it. It's beautiful. Ryan did an amazing job with the art. And both those stories lead into Justice League Dreamgirls, which again I'm writing with Nicole. And it's a DC Pride event is the subtitle, which is wild. It is a 4-issue miniseries out every week in June. It's basically picks off where the end of Justice League Intergalactic leaves off and is about Dreamer and Galaxy as you've never seen them before.
Hell yeah.
And we have a lot of fun with those characters. The Key is our villain for that. I love the Key. And we get to use so many Justice League people because it's official. It's a official Justice League book. So like Batman is in there, Wonder Woman is in there, but also like Extraño is in there. Hawkgirl comes back, which is great. We have Midnighter and Bunker and all sorts of cool cameos and scenes. And it's really just a celebration of me and Nicole's favorite characters, honestly. And it's great. I love it.
Amazing.
I'm really proud of it. We've got incredible talented artists who are working on that. There's a different artist, several artists each issue, and just really some of the best people working in comics right now. Dan Jurgens does a sequence, which is
wow.
I can't believe we got him.
As you're listening to this, that's either just about to come out or probably the first issue is out already. So make sure you go and pick those up at your local comic shop.
Yeah, if you're listening to it in the future, as you know, this episode will continue this. It's probably collected. You could get it there.
Yeah.
You can check it out at your local library. It will be on DC Comics Infinite. But yeah, support your local comic shop. Because
it's basically like Defenders of Earth, but it's real and has Batman in it.
Yes, and crucially, if you buy it, our guest gets paid, which is very cool. So please go check that out.
At the very least, I'll get to do more Galaxy stories, which is what I really want to do with my time at DC Comics.
You have contributed a character to that universe. You know, complicated. I'm sure that it's a complicated feeling, but like theoretically, Galaxy will like outlive you.
That would be really cool. I would love for her to be someone who has, like, after I'm done telling the stories that I want to tell, I would love for her to have a life after me. But also, if I get the Starman deal and it's like just my stories, no more, that's fine too. I'm not picky. I just really want to tell everything that I wanted to tell with that character. And an action figure. That's the other thing I want. I feel like I should get an action figure.
Everyone should go read the Galaxy stories before the big screen adaptation that will surely come.
And thank you for sharing sharing fresh stories with us here on the Pod Universe with your Flash Gordon Cinematic Universe. It's been a pleasure having you on the show. Do you want to tell people where they can find you on social media?
Oh, don't find me.
Okay. Don't find Jadzia Axelrod.
I'm on Blue Sky, Planet X, .bluesky.com or whatever. You can just search for Jadzia Axelrod. You'll find me. And I'm on there as long as that's fun. At some point, it's not going to be fun, and then I'll be gone, and then I won't probably be on anywhere.
Yeah, it's really riding the line lately on whether it's fun or not.
Barely fun. It's really like whether or not Stella is posting this week is whether or not Blue Sky is fun.
Look, the world isn't fun recently.
It's
not
all Blue Sky's fault. It's wonderful that people now read my books because for the longest time no one did. So I love that's happening. The minus of that means that a lot of people are now following me on social media, which means that becomes less fun for me.
Yeah.
Now that there's all these people. So like there's going to reach a point where it's not even a Blue Sky's fault. It's just like I reached a maximum number of followers. And at that point, it's just for announcing books. I'm not having fun on it anymore. And that's all there is to it. So one day that'll happen, and I'm aware of that.
So go follow Jadzia and make her have a bad time.
Well, this is why I say don't.
We hope that you reach the exact plateau of social media and like comics fame where the only people who know who you are fans of your work.
Yeah, that's the ideal. Yeah, and like JadziaAxelrod.com is my website. There's a newsletter there. So if I've ever drop off of Blue Sky, you can always follow the newsletter.
Hell yeah.
And that just about wraps it up here for the Pod Universe. We want to give a big thanks to our patrons who are helping to keep this show running. You can join at patreon.com/Dylan and Dalton. Start your 7-day free trial. You can get bonus material for $5 a month, or you can help to guide our show at higher levels than that. We want to give a big thanks to our executive producers who are contributing $15 a month to our show. That's Brian Egan, Denham Mudslide, Diana, Jonathan Morgantini, Mar Bendlar, Mark Schmidt, Matt Thackeray, Michael Cox, Michael Merciless, Michael Whiplash, and Tucker. And to our studio executives, we say thank you very much for helping to pick what we do on our bonus pod. Check out the studio mandates section. We put one of them out for free on the main feed recently. They choose a movie for us to do a guest episode style pitch for improvised here on the show. Thank you to studio executives Alyssa the Pazuzu Apologist. Welcome back. Bill French, Beerus, Brandon Bullock, Brent Dreyer, Dracatella, Jasper Stark, Joe Valiant, Cadel, Moose, Soonmot, Speep, and The Wayfinder. We really appreciate you. And until next time.
I want to, look, full disclosure, we are recording this episode in advance. We are now 11 days before my wedding.
Yeah.
Trying to get things.
Congratulations.
Thank you so much. Trying to get some episodes out the door. But if everything has gone according to plan, you
at least know the release date for
Pod willing, the next episode on your feed will be War of the Worlds Part 1.
Okay.
Amazing.
I think that is what we're planning on.
Knocking on wood, crossing my fingers and toes.
We are deep into Act 2, but we also have the wedding, the honeymoon, and your move coming up.
Yes, everything at once.
But we are very proud of it, and the Phase 1 finale is finally here. And please stick around for that.
And until next time,
stay
Flash! Ha!